What's up, YouTube? Back with another video. I want to go over this topic. You cannot control the universe. And this is an important topic because you have to understand there's a level of acceptance that people have to, grasp to in order to understand that, you know, there is even, you can't even control your reactions to certain extents. And I think a lot of times being out of control worries people. It gives people anxiety. Sometimes you may not know when's your next meal. You may not know when's the next time you may gain stability. But and this can really bother people to the point that it has people, up at night. It consumes people's thoughts. Um, because there's just this level of concern. But in through gaining acceptance of that your reality is not in your control, it's something that you have to experience for yourself. And a lot of times I believe we do not allow the world to manifest on its own. A lot of times we live in a culture that says that we need to develop an answer as soon as possible. But you have to get to a point inside of your life where, you have to allow the universe to give you an answer. So allow the universe to develop an answer on its own so you can understand it more, right? And a lot of times, I think a lot of people, they don't accept that most of the times in this universe, you have to become an observer more. So you have to observe, you have to listen to what's going on around you. You have to observe inside of the situation of what's going on. And the real reality of things is that your reality is always going to change. Things are always going to change. And when you understand spiritual laws and you understand the spiritual reality of things, you start to kind of see things clearer as the veil kind of lifts up. There was a time inside of my life where I started to understand even the days that you wake up, it's never the same day. Even when you go to that same job, right? You have to understand that there are constant spirits coming in that job, which changes the entity or the spirit form of that job. So even when you go into the job that you've been working at for 10 plus years, 5 plus years, you think it's the same, but it's not really the same. Every day is a changing day. Everything always changes. Even the state that you're in, right? It's constantly changing. So you can be in the state of New York. You can be in the state of, Florida. And you're thinking that you're in this state, right? But you have to understand on the flip side, inside of the spiritual realm, you are in different realities always, constantly. Things are constantly changing. And you have to learn how to adapt. And you have to understand these situations. And you have to be able to learn how to move accordingly, sometimes very fast. And, to live in a state of comfort all the time, you have to realize that the state of comfort is really just a delusional thing. It really is a delusional thing, because when you understand, like I said, when you understand the spiritual laws of things, you're always going to be losing something. You're always going to be losing something, right? For the gain of something else. So let's say, for instance, I'm just going to stay on the example of, you're working at a job for 5 to 10 years plus, and you're thinking, oh, everything is comfortable, everything is the same, but you have to realize what you're losing on the back end. And some people don't understand what they're losing just in the just for the sake of being comfortable, right? And one of the things that I can say about this universe that I'm very grateful for is that a lot of times this universe has taken me out of situations of comfort. A lot of times. It was probably routines. It could be routines that made me feel really comfortable. I was getting the results that I wanted to, but because the universe came in and said, hey, we're going to switch things up, I had to, lose those routines to understand what is going on in the on hindsight. And I'm grateful for it because every change, every disruption made me see something even bigger, or made me see of multiple possibilities, or things that could be, or things that could be possible. And honestly, I've come to find out, sorry guys, I've come to find out that one of the best feelings in this world is having a mind of possibilities. And you can only experience that mindset when your world is constantly changing. The world of possibilities. But you have to understand that you're always going to lose something, right? You're always going to lose something. And a lot of times inside of this world, you have to learn how to lose. You have to learn how to lose things, lose relationships, lose things that are comfortable for the meantime, for things that are going to change. And a lot of times we don't teach people how to adapt. We don't teach people survival skills, right? Because in the midst of change, you have to learn how to survive to get to your next destination. It's kind of as if you were on one part of the land, and then you're taking a boat and you're trying to reach the other part of the land. But within within between the distances between your old land and the land that you're going through, there's going to be currents, there's going to be certain things. You have to study the water, you have to study the waves, you have to see the possibilities of what can possibly happen, but you have to learn how to survive. It doesn't mean that there's so many things that can possibly happen on that road, but to be honest, you'll be happy that you took that road. But the universe is always changing, man. There's a lot of things that you cannot change about it. The world is its own thing, and it requires certain things. And in order for the universe to thrive, it's going to ask things of you. It's going to ask a lot from you. It's going to ask a lot of things from other people. It's going to ask for multiple of shifts to happen for it to also thrive. So once you understand that there are so many things outside of yourself, and when you start thinking that you are not the only person that's here, there's multiple of people with troubles. There is animals, there's the trees, there's rocks, there's land, there's so many other wildlife that also are at need, and that is also playing within the